There we go. There we go. There we go. What is going on, beautiful people? And welcome to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I am your host, Sergio Vicente, and we have another fire show for you guys today. Look, I hope you guys have had a great weekend. I know I did. It was amazing to watch so many great fights, man. We saw somebody who might, is he the GOAT? I don't know. We'll discuss today. But before we go ahead and get into it, man, let me talk about today's menu. Joining us on today's show today, we have the guru, the boxing savant himself, always blessing us with his presence. We have Camm coming on the show, man. So we'll be talking pretty much all things boxing today. We're going to kind of focus on that and have a really good time with that because what's going on in boxing right now, It's amazing. I love what I'm seeing right now. So we're going to discuss everything, all things boxing. We're going to talk about Canelo. What's going on with Canelo? We're going to talk about Bud Crawford. Is he who we thought he was? We're also going to talk about Bob Arum's comments about Bud Crawford, Wilder, Fury, and so much more, man. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the episode. Let me bring our guest on. Like I said, the man, the myth, the legend, Camm. Welcome to the show, brother.
What's good, Sarge? Appreciate you for having me once again.
Absolutely,
you doing work this week. A lot of content coming out.
Man, you know what I'm saying? We working on it, man. We out here, We already, like I said, I'll be on 2 other shows this week as well. We'll be on Mystic Black once again this week. And we're working on another one. I got to get a confirmation, but definitely we have confirmation. We'll also be on Mystic Black show this week. So we trying to get as much content out. And for those of us who go ahead and follow the show on social media and everything, so shit, why not just give a little shameless plug? Listen everywhere. Podcasting's available. You know what I'm saying? Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Check us out at the website, thefightpodcast.com. Listen, like, subscribe, share. We have merch coming for you guys. I know you've been waiting for some of that for forever.
Yes, sir.
Man, so we got some merch coming out for you guys. And we're actually going to start on our social media. So that's at the Fight Podcast. You're going to start seeing podcast clips on there as well. So you'll be able to share that with people who, you want to let them know about the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe. So we'll have that coming out this week as well. So yeah, brother, we out here. We got to put that content out for the people.
Oh, you already know. Good shit, my guy.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Well, look, bro. Let me ask you this before we go ahead and jump on into it, man. Bro, what's going on in your neck of the woods, man? How's Chocolate City? You did have that the Million Dickhead March, whatever, this weekend. I mean, what's going on?
Everything is everything. No complaints. I ain't see nothing from the Million Dickhead March this weekend. Yeah, I didn't catch any of that. I feel like I was mostly in the house this weekend following COVID protocols like I should be. Y'all make
sir. I appreciate
to the listeners, y'all please make sure y'all follow COVID protocols. We need to get out of this at some point. It needs to end. But we're going into winter. We're going into a lonely ass Thanksgiving. A lot of us won't be with our families like we normally are. So follow protocols, do what you can, keep people safe. But as far as my weekend, obviously I had a great time with a small group of friends, probably.
Look at this nigga talking about COVID protocols and turns around and says he was kicking it with some friends.
4 people overall to watch the fight. 2 of them are married. They count as a pair. So they count as one.
Yeah, they count as one. Absolutely.
And then my other boy came. So, I mean, it was a small group of 4. We watched the fight. I had a great time with that. Sunday, kind of a chill day. Watch my little, 10 hours of football. Follow my fantasy teams. Get a little rest. Some short. Yeah, So I love NFL Sundays. Like I wait I'm so sad in the off season, and then September comes around and bruh, NFL Red Zone for
that's it.
I think it's 1 to 7, and then you got the 8 o'clock game for Sunday Night Football. Bro, my day is set. And for me, I like football, but fantasy, I gotta know what everybody's doing. All times.
I'm not mad, bro. I'm not mad at it. I understand, or
at least you try to, which I appreciate.
I do. Hey, here's the thing. You could attest to this. Even if I don't like it, I'm not a hater. I'm not gonna hate on something. If that's your bag, you know me. I'm gonna. Hey, that's your world. I love it. You like it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to hate on nobody. You like fantasy, brother? Get your GM on.
Doing what I can, trying to manage this playoff hunt. So we'll see how it goes. I'll report back to y'all in a couple weeks.
Yo, real quick, speaking of football, I did see DeAndre Hopkins this weekend. Holy shit. Bro, that catch, for those who did not watch, you're the football guy. I'm going to let you set this up because I just saw the highlight. This is crazy.
So it's a game between the Buffalo Bills, who have been great this year. I know we're typically used to the Buffalo Bills being terrible every year, but they're a really good team this year.
Should have never got rid of Tyrod Taylor.
They're doing way better without Tyrod Taylor.
I know.
So like,
hey, you know what? It was a good fit. He's great where he is right now. They're doing good where they are.
No, he's not.
It is.
No,
because he got punctured. His lung got punctured by a garbage ass team doctor. How awful is that?
He's a really good backup quarterback. Like, he's a great backup quarterback to have, but I mean, Justin Herbert, the guy who's starting now, is probably a lot better than him, is going to have a bright future than him. All Tyrod Taylor is ever going to be, and this is no shade to him, he's a game manager. And that just is what it is. Like, he's not going to win you the game, but he's also not going to lose you the game. Yeah. What you want out of a backup quarterback, Justin Herbert, it probably has a bright future ahead of him. So, I mean, yeah, all things considered, back to the game. So the Bills come back on the Cardinals, and they take the lead in the fourth quarter with a touchdown to Stephon Diggs, which I was happy about because I have Stephon Diggs in one of my biggest fantasy leagues. So I'm looking for the receptions, for the touchdowns, all of that. So he gets a touchdown. I won. Fuck it. I'm like I don't care what happens next. Diggs got his touchdown because that was his first touchdown of the game. Right. He went over 100 yards. Perfect. Now the Bills just got to close the game out. They got to stop the Arizona Cardinals. They had barely any time left. Arizona Cardinals run a few plays. Maybe they get to, like, I don't even know where they were. Maybe their own 40, it felt like. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they run a play, get out of bounds, clock is stopped. They run a play. Kyler Murray rolls out to the left, just tosses a Hail Mary like you do on the last play of the game. Man. And it's just DeAndre Hopkins with like 4 or 5 people around him. And he's just like better. He's just bigger. He's better. He jumps higher, and he went and got that ball over everyone. That's just what it was.
Did you see the picture? There's a picture going out there, and I saw it on IG where it's zoomed in on everybody's hands, and it's if you are. I hope Team Jordan is doing.
I lost you for a second.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Give me 1 second. You can't hear me? Let me see something, guys. Sorry if we're having a little technical difficulties for a second.
You're back.
Am I back? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're good.
That's weird. I don't know what happened.
That was odd, yeah. Not sure.
See, that's what happens when I talk football, you see? Shit just gets fucked up. Every time I talk football, man, things break up.
DeAndre Hopkins had essentially a career-defining catch.
Oh, probably, that's what I was saying, though. The picture where he jumped up with the Jordan gloves. Under it was a Nike glove and an Adidas glove up under. Did you see that shit?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's such a sick picture. Just because, I mean, if you're a Jordan guy, that is. I mean, great for marketing purposes.
You know, got my little Nike on.
You know, I mean, hey,
doing a little thing. Hey, but I'm no DeAndre Hopkins.
Man,
dope catch. DeAndre Hopkins has some great clips. Probably the best DeAndre Hopkins clip that you will ever see. I believe I think it was Hard Knocks. Have you seen that clip with him and D'Angelo Hall? It probably is. And I think D'Angelo Hall broke his ankle.
He did break his ankle. He literally broke his, and that was literally right after DeAndre Hopkins. He was talking shit. He was.
I don't start. I just finish it.
Bro.
I just finish. That's it.
Yo, I didn't realize Hopkins played. I knew he played football at Clemson, but I didn't realize he played on the basketball team also.
I did not realize that. Yeah. I didn't know who DeAndre Hopkins went before he got to the NFL. I just probably wasn't into the sport as much at the time. So I didn't really know him. And then he got to Houston, and he was just the number 2 to I'm blanking, something Johnson.
Andre Johnson. Come on, man. The legend.
Andre Johnson. So he was the number 2. Andre Johnson, still that guy at the time, but like starting to get in his downslope. And then he had a few big games. I'm like, okay, he's a decent number 2 receiver, but I didn't know him in college. I didn't know he was going to ball out like this and be one of the NFL's best receivers for probably a decade now.
Dude, he's crazy.
A decade he's dragging it. At least 5 years.
he hasn't dropped a pass in like 4 seasons. It's crazy.
Huge hands.
Like, dude,
Huge
that's like Chris Carter vibes. You remember Chris Carter used to be like that? Like, he'd catch everything. Like, mad Chris Carter vibes.
Come on, remember? No, I don't remember. I know who Chris Carter is, and I know when he played, but like in terms of my memory of it, maybe like my favorite athlete ever is Randy Moss. So I know a little bit more about the first few seasons, and I've actually went back and watched a lot of that stuff. But just
fam. I see. That's when I remember Chris Carter. I remember old washed Chris Carter. Like Mr. Reliable. You'll get him on that 3-yard out all day long. That was what he get you on a 3-yard out, and he'll get you on a quick slant, right? But here's the thing: he set up Randy Moss because it was that it was Randall Cunningham, not even Dante Culpepper. It was Randall fucking Cunningham giving everybody the business, bro. See, fond memories of football there when I was a kid. I love that shit because Randy Moss was that dude.
Ooh, Randy Moss was that guy.
Dude, that guy.
Damn, I just got a IG message from my boy Matt that I told you he'd be giving us compliments on the show. He talking about y'all on vacation.
What's he talking about? Tell him to turn on. We live. And we were on last week. What's he been on?
I think he might just be looking at the at Apple Podcasts. I don't think he sent a screenshot. How I get in the YouTube link right now? Can I do that?
Yeah, just send him the link. Hey, in fact, let me. Shoot him a link. Just a regular YouTube. Just say it on the Fight Podcast YouTube page. Have it sent. You know what's hilarious that I'm thinking about this right now?
What's up?
That this is going to be on the podcast. Saying send him the link. That's what's up. He can join us live right now. And in fact, if he goes out there and hits us not live on the chat, he could literally comment, ask us any questions. We'll comment on this shit live.
I'm asking. Got any questions?
I'm telling you, we're literally recording right now. I was like, I feel like I had a Joe Budden moment right there. We about to call somebody.
Yeah. That'd be dope if we call people.
You know what, man? Look, check this out.
He thought we was bullshitting. He said like live schmive. I was like, nah, like he's like,
nigga, we live.
Nah, we're here. We're right here.
What's
talking
up?
shit about
How you feeling, fam? What's good?
He wants to know if Crawford is going to buy out his contract.
He needs to. In fact, you know what? I appreciate him asking. Let's just go ahead and get into the shits, okay? And I appreciate him. What a segue. What a segue from the guy.
Yeah, that was a layup if I ever seen one.
What do I see? Bang! Crawford wins big. He goes out there and completely bodies Kell Brook. Now, I say that a little facetiously because at the end of the day, Kell Brook came out there to win. He looked great in the first half of that fight. I mean, those first 3 rounds were anybody's rounds. But I think, Brandon, I'm going to toss it to you in a second. I mean, I think we can both agree. The adjustments that Crawford made, holy shit, bro. That's what legendary performances are made out of. The way he was able to go ahead and make those adjustments with his footwork. You were talking a lot about his footwork. Could you talk about that a little bit for me before we kind of get into what he proved?
Yeah, I mean, Terence Crawford's footwork is amazing. When you see him in the ring, he's super light in his feet. He always looks super fluid. And then he lulls you into a sense of security if he's in an orthodox stance. Once he switches to the southpaw, you're not even thinking, damn, and he's already to the outside foot. So what you guys probably know already if you watch any type of combat sports, when you get an orthodox versus southpaw matchup, there's always going to be a battle to get your lead leg to your opponent's outside foot. To the outside of your opponent's lead leg. And with the knockout sequence that you'll see in the Crawford fight, that's exactly what happens. He gets the outside of his lead of Brook's lead leg, and the fight was essentially over. And then he just thrashed him for about 15 more seconds. But the fight was over after that first punch.
Fam, gave his ass the business. It was one of those things, man. I was watching the fight, and I'm not gonna stunt. Those first 3 rounds, Crawford was getting blasted with that jab. I was sitting there in my seat like, I was 2 seconds from calling you and saying, ooh, like where does this go? He was getting caught with a jab. And you can tell that Kell Brook he was confusing Crawford for a little bit. He was making it difficult on him. And Crawford was
a distance.
It absolutely. And
they both mentioned that in post-fight.
Yep.
Both of them mentioned distance in the post-fight interviews.
Mm-hmm. So he was able to go ahead and do that. He made the adjustment, switched back to southpaw, and the moment that he did that, which was literally the middle towards the end of the third round, we can say, and then he
different fight.
Dude, totally different fight. He went out there and just, dude, that check hook right hand jab that he blasted his ass with, man, he hits way harder than I actually ever anticipated.
I think he hits hard. I think he hits harder than we anticipated, and you're not gonna like this.
Timing too. It's his timing also.
Elite timing, but
yes.
Kell Brook should have been able.
He's washed. Don't you say he's
washed.
washed.
He's washed. Oh. He's damaged goods. Bro, you cannot tell me. I'm sure you've watched the knockout as many times as I can. There's no way that Kell Brook, that fought Errol Spence, and really an elite level fighter, should not be able to walk through that punch. Maybe it buzzes you. Yes, it hurts. But
I'm not gonna say that.
Almost flew out the ring, like, and just it was knocked out off of that punch alone, bro. That was a hybrid jab, we'll call it.
So here's the thing,
and he did a lot of the work. He was coming.
I'm glad you said that. Here's the thing. He was able. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, because you said
go ahead.
You're going at my point. Okay, so he was jumping in. And the beautiful thing about what Crawford did is he was actually able to go out there and just time it perfectly. He used his momentum against him. And one of the things that I love about him, especially, like I said, the more I watched him, he does remind me of almost like boxing's version of Adesanya, right? It's the way he manages distance and the way he literally has you run into shots. I loved everything that I was watching from him. So I really believe it was more so. Now, granted, he hit him hard. He hit him directly on the temple. When you get hit anywhere near that area, temple. Dude, it hit him like all up in here, bro. Like
in the eye. It was not a temple shot. It was an eye shot.
Yo, if you get hit in the eye here, that glove is that thick. It's going to hit part temple also. You're getting hit here. He got cracked. I'm just not going to say he's a washed fighter. He's 33 years old, fam.
He's 34 years old.
Same age. He's literally the same age as Terence Crawford.
Damaged goods. That's the difference. 2 knockouts, 2 metal plates in his face, damaged goods. And the first shot that Terence Crawford lands, the fight is over. When have you ever seen Terence Crawford with just fight-ending power like that? Yes, he has power. What? Yes, he'll get you out of there. But like, he's not Deontay Wilder, and that was a jab.
I'm gonna concede to you on this one, man. I'm not like Donald Trump. I know when I'm fucking beat. Like that was, you got me. You're right. He's washed. Like, fuck him.
Like it wasn't till that moment that you realized that he was damaged goods. Because up to that point, he looked really good in the fight. His body looked amazingly into the fight. So you're like, maybe. But at the end of the day, this is what we thought it was. Like, what did you think 3 months ago when this fight got made? We were like, shit, we don't want to see this. Kell Brook been knocked out. Like, no one wants to see that fight. And it was what it was. We got pulled into the promotion.
How did we get pulled on? We got, dude, literally when this fight was announced, I think you and I both said that he is going to get washed.
Yeah.
But you know what? Physically, he did look amazing. He did come there to win. I don't want to take anything away from Kell Brook. He came out there to win. But let's go ahead and transition to this. What, in your opinion, did Terence Crawford prove? Do you believe that Terence Crawford is legit? Is he that guy? Is he the pound for pound boogeyman that everyone, especially at ESPN, think that he is?
A few months ago, when the fight was made, we said that Terence Crawford is going to walk through him, and we were angry because we knew it wasn't going to prove anything, and it didn't. He proved what we already knew. Terence Crawford is an amazing fighter, probably one of the best in the game that should do that to competition that's below him, and he got him out of there. But what did we learn? Nothing. Not enough to justify this number 1 pound for pound spot that people are giving him. And trust me, Serge, we are both Terence Crawford fans. However, what I said on Twitter, how can you be number 1 pound for pound when every single person below you on the pound for pound list has a better resume than you? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. Not only does it not make sense, but all that we want as boxing fans are the best fights to be made on a consistent basis. And what that promotes, if you're going to say Terence Crawford, who has not had an opportunity to be in these big fights, is number 1 pound for pound.
Talk your shit.
What you're saying is that, like, okay, he can get to, we don't need the big fights. We don't need the best fights. We're just going to put this guy number 1 pound for pound when he's not the number 1 welterweight. Right. That just doesn't make sense to me. Great fighter, probably a pound for pound fighter, but number 1 is just like,
Yeah.
That's Top Rank and Andre Ward.
Exactly. Okay, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to know what you think. Because here's the thing, I totally agree with you. I'm going to say this. I think Terence Crawford is amazing. Does he pass the like Max Kellerman and those dudes say does he pass the eyeball test? He absolutely passes the eyeball test. Okay, I'll say that. But resumes matter. The people that you fight matter. His biggest win until this past weekend, was Gamboa, essentially. And here's the thing, when we look at Gamboa and his fights, let's be very honest. He was a 126er. So at the end of the day, when we're looking at this, we're hearing this, and we're seeing, it's just like, bro, and that was my biggest thing with Terence Crawford. Does he have the skills? Absolutely. Who are you fighting?
And I never saw Gamboa as that good. I think he just got good promotion.
I do too. I absolutely do too. Now let me ask you this, and this is something that goes to your boy's question, and it also kind of feeds into what we're talking about. Terence Crawford versus Top Rank. What were your thoughts on Bob Arum's comments? Because Bob Arum made some real strong comments, and I don't know if you have those comments at all pulled up or anything, but he made some super disparaging comments, something along the lines of, look, I'm not going to go bankrupt trying to promote this kid. I can build a house in Beverly Hills for all the money that I'm trying to spend on that kid. Something along those lines, along with some other things. Let me ask you, first of all, if you were Terence Crawford, will you pull a Floyd Mayweather and buy yourself out of this Bob Arum contract? Should he do that?
Let me try and get the exact quote here for you. But he said something to the extent of, I think it was an interview with Lance Pugmire in The Athletic, where they asked him about, I guess, is he going to continue promoting Terence Crawford? I guess his contract is up this upcoming summer. And so Bob Arum said something to your point, to the extent of, do I want to promote Terence Crawford is the question. I've lost more money with as much money as I've lost on his last 3 fights. I could build a huge house in Beverly Hills. I think he said something along those lines. That, to me, I think was a bit reactive. And I think he was playing a bit of defense. I think he was almost, in a way, he was almost set up, because the day before the fight, all of this stuff leaked about how unhappy Terence Crawford is. And they were the sentiments that we thought, and we probably knew how Terence Crawford felt, and we've talked about it on here. But now we had Terence Crawford in multiple interviews, or maybe it was just one interview, but I saw it all over the place, how Terence Crawford was unhappy with top rank. Obviously, he wants the big fights. He's not getting them. So I think that right before fight night, and then he has an awkward interaction with Terence Crawford during the post-fight interview. He was probably a little pissed off, but also probably playing a bit of defense, because he has Top Rank. As old as he may be, he's still running the company. The company will be around long after he's gone.
Yep.
Hopefully. And so I think he's playing a bit of defense as well, where he's like, hey, I still have to sign young fighters, and Top Rank has been good at ringing up with young fighters. And if they see all this bad press about Terence Crawford, that may deter them from signing with him. So I think he's trying to avoid that as well.
Okay.
Bud has to take responsibility here. He wants to talk about how he's unhappy with Top Rank, and maybe Top Rank sold him a dream. So what, nigga? You signed that contract.
Facts.
You signed that contract. That's on you. And that was 2018. All of the fighters that are with PBC now were with PBC back then. You chose to sign that extension. That is on you. And you can't continue to look at Bob Arum, who has proved that he's willing to cross over promotional lines. He made the fight with Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker. He made the fight with Lomachenko and Luke Campbell. Yes. He is willing to reach across promotional lines to make fights. However, at the end of the day, you have to look in the mirror. Because if you knew that you wanted these big fights, they were so important to you, then why didn't you sign with PBC? You would have gotten paid. Maybe you won't get as big as quickly, but you're going to get paid. Probably more than you would have made with Top Rank. You would have been fighting on pay-per-view by now. Look at Errol Spence.
Not only would he have been fighting on pay-per-view, he would have already fought some of these guys that we're questioning him about.
Yeah.
And if he fought those guys, then those answers of pound for pound number one, there would be no question. There would be no questions about it. And that's the thing. The biggest culprit in this one, and this is why I think I get so frustrated. I get legitimately frustrated when I hear people say that, like, Errol's ducking them and all this other shit, right? Because I'm a huge fan of both guys. But at the end of the day, if Terence Bud Crawford did not make the decision in 2018 to re-sign with Top Rank, he probably would have fought Errol Spence by now. Yeah. Let's just be very honest. And the fact that he's trying to make it seem like Errol and everybody else and all these guys, like, yo, first and foremost, yo, fam, everybody at ESPN, y'all need to chill the fuck out. All those damn dudes, man, the knee pads that they must hand out every time, it is ridiculous the way they ride for all the other top-ranked guys. Come on, man. You guys have to be objective. You have to be objective. Listen to Tim Bradley, little thick ass, go out there, keep like the way he's talking. Like, dude, relax. You guys are literally talking. There's like no base behind it. There's nothing. You guys are just literally talking about the way you feel because that's your friend. Come on, man. You guys have a job to do. Be objective. I like athletes. I have relationships with fighters. But when a fighter who I have a relationship with is fighting somebody better, guess what? I'm picking the dude that's better. It's my job.
To a certain extent, they are signed with Top Rank. They do want to promote this guy, but at the end of the day, at times they do sound
do that in the same like while shitting on this other guy. That's not promotion.
Who are they shitting on?
Errol Spence? They literally say Errol Spence is scared. They literally said on the broadcast, "Oh, he's scared. He don't want it." Are you kidding? What? Errol Spence ain't scared of nobody.
I don't mind that because PBC did the broadcast a while back where they just didn't have Terence Crawford in that image as the WBO champion. So if they're going to take jabs back and forth, it is what it is. I guess that's part of the game they play. I don't like it. You don't like it. I mean,
I don't like it.
It's a dirty game.
I don't like it. And here's the thing. The reason I don't like it, because at the end of the day, again, you are the commentator. You're not supposed to be sitting. You're supposed to be calling balls and strikes. That's your job, is to call balls and strikes, not to sit there and like favor somebody over the other one. Yo, I like this guy. We're on the same side as him, but at the end of the day, dude, you gotta like, come on. I just thought it was tacky. It is what it is. You know, I'm kind of belaboring the point a little bit, but still, real quick before we move on to this one. Final thoughts on this one. What should Bud Crawford do going forward?
It seems like they're both a bit unhappy. I would imagine Bob Arum is going to at least try as hard as he can to make that Errol Spence fight, because if he's losing all this money on his last three fights, then he's going to try to recoup that back on a fight like that. However, with Terence Crawford's contract ending this summer, you have Errol Spence fighting right now. That fight getting made just seems like a long shot. Al Heyman knows he could just wait it out, sign Terence Crawford, and get all of that for himself. So that's what I think is going to happen. But that decision back in 2018 matters because Terence Crawford at this point is 33. By the time he probably gets an opportunity to make that fight with Errol Spence, he'll probably be 34. So the clock is ticking. Time waits for no man. But yeah, I have a few other things about this broadcast. We can move on from there. I'll touch on it later.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Leave those for those odds and ends for you at the end. Yeah. Because I definitely want you to get into that also. But moving right along, let's go ahead and talk about who I personally have is my pound for pound number one guy in the sport right now. Canelo is finally back. Canelo Alvarez is going to go ahead out there fight Caleb Smith on DAZN this December. Fam, I cannot wait. Christmas come early. This is December 19th. Bro, excitement level, bro. What are your thoughts, man? Tell me what's up?
Very, very high. Of the fights to make, this has to be one of the top ones. You look at the 168-pound division. It is a stacked division.
Crazy stacked.
You had guys.
I really do. I wish it was Caleb Plant. I'm such a Caleb. I wanted him to get this opportunity. He probably will in the future, but still, I wanted this one for him.
But this is a really good fight for Canelo. I mean, you pick Callum Smith and Caleb Plant. You have to give the nod at this point to Callum Smith in terms of who's the better fighter, because Callum Smith has the better resume. Yeah. He's the one who knocked out George Groves in the World Series of Boxing. You know, he's
scary dude.
Huge. He's taller. He's like 6'3".
7 inches taller than Canelo.
So I mean, and all that being said, I'm still going to favor Canelo in the fight. I think Callum Smith came into his last fight a little bit flat. He just wasn't excited for his opponent, who you could argue got an upset win over him, but he was given the decision on the scorecards. But all in all, like, this is the fight I wanted made all along. I think this is the fight I wanted made after I saw Callum Smith knock out in Dow.
Oh my God. The last year, when he was just blitzing, homie, the black dude with the dreads, man.
Hassan and Dom. Yeah.
Dude.
So I mean, this is a huge fight. I just don't think the American public understands how good Callum Smith is, and I think that will hurt the excitement level. But Callum Smith is a huge star in the UK. DAZN recently going global. Canelo wants to be a global superstar. He said that over and over. If he can't fight in Wembley, I think this is the next best thing for him. Absolutely. No golden boy involved. Like, I'm excited for this. And this is a losable fight for Canelo. Like a very losable fight. So if he's able to get through this, which I'm not sure that he will, I mean, it's just another notch on his resume. And if he gets through this fight, you cannot deny number one pound for pound.
You cannot deny number one pound for pound. If he goes up here, man, one thing I love about Canelo, and the reason that Canelo's and really quick, man, I want to thank everybody who's listening live on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube, man. Always appreciate it, man. Love it. Let your friends know, man. Like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Appreciate you guys as always. But look, talking about this one, man, with Canelo, he will fight anybody. Canelo's one of those guys. He's not afraid. He'll move up a weight class. Now, does he get some questionable nods from time to time? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, man, he is a warrior. He goes out there. I have seen him evolve throughout his career. He's one of those guys that stays ready, which I love about Canelo also, man. He's a superstar. He's the best fighter in the sport, the most popular fighter in the sport. And at the end of the day, man, this fight is, like you said, a very losable fight. And it's only a couple weeks away, man. Christmas come early with this one. I can't fucking wait. Any final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I understand why they went with Callum Smith and not Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has a story to tell. He lost his daughter. Like, if you're going to put on a pay-per-view, that's a story that you have to sell to the public. It takes time. So I understand why they ended up going in another direction. And guess what? This fight will be free to DAZN subscribers.
Ooh, so real quick, do you guys think? Do you think Canelo turns around and fights on May 5th, right after this one? He fights in December, then fights again in May.
Yes, because he's missed now 2 Mexican holidays, three straight. Yep. He didn't fight last year.
I'll say this: it depends on if if he wins, absolutely, but if he loses, I don't know. That's what I'll say. I don't know. I generally don't know. But I'm picking him to win. So yeah, absolutely, I think he gets that one. All right, real quick, let's go ahead
and the storyline going into this one that we always neglect to mention. Canelo knocked out his older brother, Liam Smith. He knocked him out in nine rounds with a mean shot to the body.
Nasty body shot. Ooh, he dropped Buddy to the body. Nasty, man. All right, here, moving right along, man. Real quick, I want to ask you about this. Just want to touch on this. I don't want to spend too much time on this. What are your thoughts on the possibility of a Wilder versus Fury 3?
I was more excited about the possibility of Fury moving on.
I am too. I think I'm kind of done with this matchup, especially.
I know where you're going.
Like a bitch, yo. Like I can't take it anymore. I don't even want any part of this matchup. I mean, it's sad, man. It's just sad to look at. Like, this dude who I respected so much, the way that he's carrying himself, he's not carrying himself like a champion. You know what I'm saying? He's carrying himself like a straight sucker, man. Like, you represent too much to be coming off like such a fucking schmuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I want them to move on from this matchup. I would like to see him fight somebody like a Dylan Wyatt, Andy Ruiz, even any of those guys. And at the end of the day, at this point now, I mean, showing what he's showing us, fam, mentally, I don't know where he's at. I think he's ripe for the pickings right now. I think any of those guys could beat him at this point in time.
I don't know. Fans can turn on you very easily after a loss, and I've heard that from multiple fighters. And he's just making it too easy to turn on him. Like, he's pushing his fans away, and so he seems right for the picking. But at the end of the day, he's still Deontay Wilder. But I want to see him get back to doing what Deontay Wilder does before he gets back into this rematch. He's going to have a new training team. Like, look,
yes, man. Oh, we're right.
You can get back, just like put new people around you, because what's going on right now, the fact that they continue to let him put out more and more excuses. I heard something about a fingernail this week. Leave me alone.
Yes, man.
We almost a year later.
It's crazy, fam. Oh, It's a fingernail. You pissed in my water. Oh man, what the fuck else, man? It's just like you put the egg weights in your glove. You know, my suit was too heavy. Oh, I didn't take a shit the night before. Like, dog, like I don't like what else, man? I'm tired of this.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's rough, bro. It's rough, man. All right, bro. Moving right along, bro. I'm giving you your opportunity. It's your time to shine. Let's go ahead and give time for a little bit of Guru's Corner. What's up with it, bro?
Yes, sir. So let's come back to this Top Rank card on Saturday. A few things that I really didn't like. Top Rank is featuring the best fighter arguably the best fighter on their roster. They have guys like Tyson Fury and I anyway as well, so I don't want to disrespect them. But Terence Crawford is one of the best fighters on their roster. They're featuring him in a fight with a pretty good co-main event that was really built on the heels of a great fight, one of the fights of the year that happened in Top Rank Summer Series, which was great for boxing. They did what they could do with the fighters they were able to get. That was between Jason, I believe I'm missing names here. Maloney versus Franco. Joshua Maloney versus, believe it's Jason. Joshua Franco and Andrew Maloney. I'm sorry. Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. So they fought during the summer series, and Joshua Franco actually upset Andrew Maloney, took his WBA super flyweight title. Okay. So sets up it was a great fight of the year. They run it back immediately. Andrew Franco says, hey, there were some things going on. No, I'm sorry. Andrew Maloney says there were some things going on. I wasn't up to par. I'm going to come back better in the rematch. Okay. Right. We always hear that. Nah, bro. He came back. He was whooping his ass. He was whooping his ass for two rounds. And in the first round, he landed a left jab, bubbled up Joshua Franco's eye, and the fight was stopped, I believe, maybe beginning of the third round. Yep. Now, Nevada State Athletic Commission, I think this is on you more than anybody, because you are the ones who said we can video review things like this. They video reviewed it. In my opinion, they had all the evidence they need. There was no accidental headbutt, at least not one that was going to cause that level of swelling. They take 30 minutes, delay the entire broadcast, which you already probably lost a few viewers from. They delayed the entire broadcast, and then they still get the decision wrong. So right now you have a few people reviewing it. You know, Bob Arum was on there talking crazy at the judges, which like directionally, like I was listening to another podcast today, and they mentioned, bro, like imagine like the refs in another sport video reviewing something. You just have the coaches in your ear just screaming at you. Like Bob Arum was over there as they were watching the video screaming at him, which was Bob Arum had a wild night. He was wilding. He was wilding.
Old man was on some other shit last night, man.
Andrew Franco, he felt that he didn't really say much. Right. They just more so made it about, hey, Oscar didn't send anybody. That was awkward, but like they got that wrong. Maloney definitely won that fight. Yeah, outside of that, ESPN, they start the card on ESPN Plus on their app, and then the card at 10 p.m. was supposed to go live on their network. Now at 10 p.m., the reason I said they probably lost viewers is because at 10 p.m. you go to ESPN. ESPN is showing the University of Florida game. Now I get it. University of Florida has a Heisman candidate quarterback. However, it was a blowout. I don't even know if he was playing. I don't even know if he was playing at the time. And they're delaying the start of the card. You have all these viewers that just left the app to come to the regular TV so they could watch this fight. And they're wondering what's going on. I'm wondering what's going on. And I'm the boxing guy. This is why I'm here. Like, I was like, I don't know what's going on. There's people on the way to my house right now. I'm feeling crazy. So I looked on Twitter. That's the only way I could figure it out. And we waited it out. I think what should have happened is at least one of the two should have started on another channel. I think they should have moved the game to ESPN News or something like they've done before, and then aired boxing. That is Terence Crawford. That is one of the best fighters on your roster, and you kind of fucking around with his broadcast, which I don't necessarily think is fair to him or anybody involved. And I don't know if it's Bob Arum's fault. I know college football gets great ratings, so putting that over boxing is very risky. But like, it just was not smooth. It wasn't good at the end of the day. So. And I guess that's the risky run when you do transitions like that. But I didn't like it. People didn't like it. And then on top of that, the first thing they see are 2 rounds, a 30-minute delay, and they get it wrong. Like, I can't imagine the amount of it. And the fight still did really well as far as the ratings are concerned. I think it peaked at almost 2 million viewers. But I can't imagine how many viewers it lost in that whole transition process throughout from the from the app to regular TV, and then throughout the first fight.
Right.
So
no, I feel you. I think you hit it on the head, man. I think that was a terrible just situation. It just looked, it was messy. It didn't look professional. I mean, you're losing fans, you're losing people. I can tell. I'm sure that they anticipated that the co-main was gonna lie, and if the co-main, if we shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? If the co-main did what it was supposed to do, probably went 12, then we don't have this problem. But that didn't happen. So you got to move forward.
That co-main was headed for a knockout.
What was that?
Co-main was headed for a knockout. Maloney came prepared.
Oh,
he came prepared.
He was putting the business. That jab was piston-like. He was cracking, buddy. Oh, it was definitely going for it. It was to the point to me that it was like a mismatch. It didn't even seem like the other guy belonged. It was like, who's this schlub that they put him in there with? It was that bad. He came prepared. He looked great. And it was an unfortunate situation, man. They got it wrong. These commissions have to do better, man. They do. Because it was a rough. All things considered, very rough weekend for top rank, and hopefully they come back hard next time. I don't know when their next big card is off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's coming up pretty soon. So just a rough weekend for top rank. Right, appreciate the Guru's Corner time. Absolutely, man. Oh no, that's your spot now, man. We always throw Guru's Corner in at the end, man. So
I will say, if I want to add something there, I would say shout out to Shakur Stevenson working the corner of Joshua Greer this weekend. That was pretty impressive to see how the young boy is thinking.
Oh, I'm a fan of that kid, man. I'm a fan of that kid, and dude. And speaking of those young dudes, man, I'm especially after watching Terence Crawford again. Devin Haney, if he adapted a little bit more of Terence Crawford style, which he absolutely can, he has the skill set to do it. That would be it, right? I would like to see a little bit more of that in his game.
I don't see it happening.
Nah.
I think it's a reach.
I don't see Terence
Crawford. Like Devin Haney is a defense first type of guy, and that's probably the fighter that he'll continue to be unless. Yeah. Unless there's
offensive all day, he's coming at your head.
Well, he's a offense, like he's a counter puncher, but he's offensive at the same time. But at the end of the day, like Devin Haney is a defense first fighter. It doesn't matter what's going on. Crawford got dog in him. Like he's gonna counter punch you, but if you touch him, he got to get you back.
Yeah,
he not worried about defense now. He got to get you back. He got to get you back now.
Yeah,
and that's something that I don't ever see coming from Devin Haney. Like that dog that's inside Terence Crawford that we love to watch. Devin Haney is cut from more of a Money Mayweather cloth, as we've spoken about before. But Terence Crawford, that dog in him is different, and we're not talking about athletic ability. We just talking about something inside you that he got.
There's a couple dudes like that, and they're in that weight class. 147 is scary. I mean, there's some legit dogs in that weight class. I mean, Pacquiao has been a dog his whole career. I don't care if he's done or not. He's a dog. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence.
I think he's done.
Dog.
And I told you that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one, too. I think he is done. But Errol Spence, dog. That fight that he had with a still legit Kell Brook, when Kell Brook was like 27 years old, that fight, yes, he was coming from, but Kell Brook came to fight that. That was a dog fight, and he went out there and came out the other end. He's had a couple of those, and so you got those dudes in that weight class, man. I mean, shit, Danny Garcia's a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys are scary in that weight class. I love it though. Great weight class, great time, man. But anything else before we get up out of here?
No, sir. I'm not sure if I'll probably get to talk to you, but not sure if we'll do an episode next week. Obviously, you got Tyson versus Roy Jones. More importantly, especially as far as I'm concerned, is Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. That is next weekend.
Ooh, that is. Okay. Well, we'll be definitely talking about that next week. So we'll have another All Things Boxing Roundtable next week. But check it out. This has been episode 245 of the greatest combat sports culture show in the entire universe. I'm your host, Sergio Vicente. Over here is my boy, the Guru, Camm. Camm, thank you so much for joining me, man. Yo, real quick before we get up out of here, where can they find you?
They can find me right here. Pretty sure you guys can see it. Camm13 on Instagram. That's Camm with 2 M's. And on Twitter at CammThinks. That is with 1 N.
That's it, man. And remember, man, you guys can find us everywhere podcasts are available: Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check out the website, thefightpodcast.com. Check me out at Sergio Vicente. And listen, like, subscribe, share. Love you guys. We'll see you next time on the podcast. Peace out.